Today I have Coach Kenny Simpson from Southside Batesville High School in Arkansas. Thanks for coming on, Coach.
Oh, man, I appreciate you having me. Always an honor to talk football.
Yes, sir. So now that we're right in the middle of the spring, what I want to talk about with Coach was how coaches should be really setting up success for the season and the summer coming up. So, Coach, could you talk a little bit about what you think coaches should be doing around this time of year to ultimately set their teams up for success?
Sure. So we look at the offseason in a couple phases. So, right after the offseason, which a lot of times is December, January, we're usually focusing mainly on the weight room. And so for us, that time has come and gone. We actually carried our team this year. We evaluate during that time as well. And we evaluate areas we're going to have to be stronger in physically. So do we need to get faster? Do we need to get stronger? And of course, a lot of teams say, yeah, we want both of those, but you try to pick kind of more of a priority for us. So this offseason for us, that was about putting some size on our athletes and getting them stronger. We were a young team. We were pretty athletic, but we were not very strong. And so we actually went December, January, February, and March. We took a 4-month block there and really got after the weight room. So we went basically 4 days a week. We have a period allotted to us. We're kind of blessed in that aspect. I know everybody may not have that.
Sure.
We spend that time in the weight room, working with our kids on their diets and trying to get weight on them and get their strength level up. And then now we've transitioned as we move to April to now where we're working our speed has kind of taken priority. We're still lifting weights, but now we are working on, ways we can get quicker. So I'm a big Feed the Cats guy. So a lot of the different things that he does where you run and you rank it, publish it, record it. So that's our off-season program in a nutshell. I could go a lot more in detail about that, but that's the off-season part about the physical, get us bigger, get us faster, get us stronger.
Sure.
As far as X and O wise, I really don't do a ton until we get into spring football. I'm a huge advocate of multiple sport athletes. And so, a lot of our kids play basketball, a lot of our kids play baseball, soccer, track. So we don't do a ton with the football. We will meet with our quarterbacks, usually in the mornings, and just kind of go through mental different things, maybe a little bit of drill work. For the most part, we don't do a ton with our other athletes until we get to May. We're blessed to have a 10-day period in Arkansas where we can actually go out and with pads on and actually have spring football. I know not every state has that.
Yeah.
So we will go out in May, which is coming up pretty soon, and we'll go out and do a lot of our install work. Now, during that time period, I am actively working football stuff with our coaches. So we're talking about stuff we want to keep from last year, scheme, stuff that we want to keep. There's some things that you're going to keep every single year. But then there are little things you may tweak offensively. Like, are we going to run the ball more with this quarterback? We're going to throw the ball more with this quarterback. What part of the playbook are we trying to highlight? Going to clinics and looking for different ideas that might fit our offense. Then as a coaching staff, bouncing that back and forth off of each other of, okay, if we do this, what do we have to give up? What do we want to try in the spring and try in the summer to see if it works? Same thing defensively, looking at personnel. We're a 3-4 team, but this year we're low on linebackers. So what does that look like if we have to go to a 4-front? What does that look like if we have to go to, some kind of cover 3 roll down? That stuff's in our playbook, but we're looking at different ideas of how to do that.
Yeah.
So that's roughly where we are right now.
Okay. Got it. So is that 10-day period, are you guys fully padded or is it? Okay.
Yeah, we're fully padded during our 10-day period. I know a lot of other states don't have that luxury. So usually during that period would be more of an install. And even with pads on for us, we're basically trying to accomplish 2 things. One is install, especially for our new kids. So for us, that's sophomores, like our new ones, or maybe any transfers we got, maybe a new quarterback. So that's very valuable to them. You could do that with or without pads.
Yeah.
And then the second part of that is we're trying to evaluate incoming players or potentially new starters in position battle areas. So if we have an opening at tackle, we're going to give 3 or 4 kids a shot at that spot during the spring and even during the summer to see who kind of takes the job.
Sure. Okay. So that's May. And then when do you officially start summer camp?
We start in June. So again, Arkansas is kind of the wild, wild west out here. We can pretty much put a helmet on every single day.
Wow.
We only get 7 competition days, which all that means is you can go to padded camps,
Okay.
which is unique too. We're kind of different there also, but
Yeah, you're blessed with that.
yeah, oh yeah, we get to go out there and put basically shells on, and that's, to me, that's the best time to evaluate, because now I'm not going against my own team. Some kids in the spring are going to look really good because they're comfortable against their own friends, and then some kids are going to shine when you're going against other teams. Those are the guys that you want, because those that's
Oh
what the
yeah.
game is played with. So June and July for us is mainly our summertime. So we will pretty much, on our days that we're not having a competition, we'll come in and lift for about 40-45 minutes, and inside of that we'll do a little bit of speed work. Then we'll go out on the field for about 40 minutes. It's not an exhaustive type deal.
Sure.
We will basically pick a side of the ball, and we'll work that side of the ball Monday, then the next day Tuesday, and then we have one competition a week. So we'll go somewhere like a team camp or a 7-on-7. That's where we get a lot of our scrimmage type stuff. We use those as evaluation tools. We're not trying to win 7-on-7 or team camp. That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We are trying to get film on our kids. So roughly we'll do that through the month of June and the month of July. And then for us, August, there's not a huge transition anymore, simply because our kids are usually active all summer.
Right.
We do build in breaks. I'm a big believer in let your kids have a summer. So we do 3-day weekends. We're done Thursday at 10 a.m. every week. So they could go on a long trip if they want to with their family. And then we give them 2.5 weeks off between June and the 4th of July. And then a lot of times we'll give them a little bit of time at the end of July off, right before August.
Okay. That's nice. When I was in high school, I wish we had that schedule, because I'm pretty sure I had to take off definitely didn't have padded practice in May, and we had to take off and only had a certain number of practices in the summer. So you're really blessed with that.
Very much so. Arkansas, I think, does it right. And I think that's the right way to do it, is to give the freedom to the coaches, because we don't even do 2-a-days, because we're able to get so much accomplished in the spring and in the summer. So when we get to August, it looks a little different to our kids, but not a lot different. I mean, we are a little more, our practices go from 40 minutes or so to, now an hour 30.
Right.
So that's a big jump. But other than that, it's not much different.
Got it. That's great. And so I guess, you being a very experienced coach, if you could go back to maybe your early days and give yourself advice, I guess, what would you give a young coach who's just stepping into the head coach role, advice wise? Like, what would you tell him?
Yeah, well, at 27, I was a head coach, and so I can talk about some things that we did. I was in Alabama, and then I was 30 when we moved to Arkansas, so still relatively young.
Sure.
So a lot of times when you go to the summer, you try to win summer camp. So that's something I did. You try to go and be impressive in the summer, or in 7-on-7, go win the tournament, go be victorious. And there is some value in that. I'm not trying to belittle that you shouldn't always compete. We always want to compete. But now that I've been around long enough, I realize that trophies in the summer don't mean anything. You should be using the summer to develop depth, using the summer to evaluate your players, not using the summer to try to go out and win meaningless tournaments or camps or things like that. And a lot of times when I was younger, I would do that, and I would neglect developing kids. So now you're into week 3 or 4, and you haven't given a lot of these kids reps, and now you're asking them to start. You could have had all summer to kind of get them ready.
Right.
And now you're kind of having to throw them in the fire when the games really matter.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. And so how did that work, starting as a 27-year-old head coach?
Man, it was I thought I was really smart, man. I don't know how old you are, how old the guys that are listening are, but
yeah,
I've learned that, you kind of have an arc of your intelligence. Like, from 18 to about 30, you think you're the smartest guy in the room when you walk in. Or at least I can speak for me. I can't speak for everybody else. And then around 30, you start to realize I'm pretty smart, but I'm not the smartest guy around. And then as you get to 40, you start to realize how many smarter people there are than you. Okay. And I don't know after 40. I'm still working on that. I'm hoping that maybe it goes back up. But the longer I live, the more I learn that I don't know.
Sure. No, I can definitely relate to that. And I'm still not there, and I'm 24. But I think, especially like going back to when I was in high school, or like 18, 19, like I thought I knew a lot more than what I actually did. So I can definitely relate to that.
Yeah, a lot of times, and that's just age, and most coaches are pretty like you are, pretty wanting to learn. I wanted to learn from their coaches. So it wasn't like I was intentionally doing that, but it's just a lot of times you don't even know what you don't even know, and then the longer you live, it just kind of happens.
Definitely. Yeah, and that I think all comes with experience and just actually doing it, which you can't do until you actually do it.
Right.
So great. So any last words, Coach, that you want to share with the audience just for today?
Sure. Now, I'd say feel free to reach out to me. I've got a lot of different things. If I can offer any advice, or I've got materials for coaches as well. It's all at FB Coach Simpson. So it's FB, like the letters FB, Coach Simpson at gmail.com is my email. Reach out to me there, and I'll put you with wherever you want, or maybe direct you to a place that can help you.
Yeah, and Coach Simpson, he's been incredibly helpful for me in starting this company, CoachTools. So definitely recommend reaching out to Coach.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. All right, everybody. Thanks again, and have a great rest of your day.